All right. Cole, if you could sum up our flag football season, both seasons, our flag football career, what would you call? What would be one?
Well, I was hurt. I was hurt one season, the first season, so I didn't play.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then, yeah, your only season.
I mean, it was a lot of fun. I mean, we sucked, but it was fun.
How many wins did y'all have?
One. We won one game.
I was at
right?
the game.
No, we won two.
Two. We beat Brunswick because I cheated, and we beat
that guy's so.
And we beat Old Plank after they broke Jackson's collarbone. That one was for Jackson.
It's a flag football game.
You don't remember that? He broke his collarbone.
I remember that.
Brody lowered his shoulder and trucked the quarterback, and yeah.
I remember I went to his house like a couple of weeks after, and I went to his church that morning, and his grandma was there, and he had his cast on, and she's like, "Jackson, how'd you hurt your collarbone?" And he's like, "Oh, I hurt it in football." She's like, "Don't you play flag football?"
Yes. Dude, that was the worst part of playing, was like going to a family get together and like hearing your grandma in the other room be like, "Yeah, Oliver plays flag football." If I could describe it in 2 words, it would be wasted potential. Because man, I mean, we could have all really done something, you know.
Yeah.
But we ended the season with a 2.
Jeremy believed in us the whole
time. Our assistant coach every game was like, "This is it, boys. This is the day that we win."
He's like,
he was right twice. He was right
twice. Yeah.
I remember in y'all's second season, I didn't have any homework, so I went to y'all's game, and I was wearing Avcoats and like a Southern Tide shirt, and it just started pouring, like out of nowhere.
That was the game we won. That was the Brunswick game.
That's the one I got my cap.
Jackson was out like the 20-yard line or something, and he just threw a bomb to, who was it?
Owen.
Oh yeah.
It was like, it was the last play to like the last second. He threw an absolute dime to Owen.
Yeah, we were down. If a touchdown would have won it for us. I don't remember exactly how much we were down by, but a touchdown would have won it.
You were down by.
I scored a touchdown that game.
Owen,
I think you were down by like 3 or something.
Yeah, we may have been down by 3 or something. Yeah, but Jackson threw a bomb to Owen. We were on like the 40-yard line, and Jackson threw a bomb to Owen.
I thought the field wasn't like a full 100 yards. So.
The field was terrible.
Oh yeah, that's right. So we were on like maybe the 30.
No, it was 80 yards, wasn't it?
Yeah, an 80.
Yeah, it was 80 by 40.
So then y'all were on like a 20-yard, or it was like y'all were on the 20-yard line then.
Ish.
If it was 100, it'd probably be the 40-yard line.
Yeah, so we were somewhere around in there. Jackson threw a bomb to Owen, and Owen like jumped over a guy and caught it. And I thought he was in the end zone because our home field had a big hill on it. So you really, from where I was standing, like I couldn't see the pylon for the corner of the end zone.
Y'all had pylons.
Yeah, we did have pylons. We scraped together enough money to buy some pylons and a down marker, or not a down, the little thing that.
Yeah.
The flip. Y'all didn't have. Did y'all have a chain?
Yeah, you had a
Did
chain.
we have a chain?
Chain marker?
Yeah, because
I think we had a chain. Yeah, we had a chain. Okay, all
one
right.
of the guys asked me to do it, but I didn't trust myself because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like cheat this somehow.
Yeah, you're gonna screw it up.
Yeah, we splurged a little bit on our football program.
I remember y'all was like
Had to buy
headmaster at the time. He came up and he talked to me during the game. He was like, "Hey, what's
Fisher.
your name?" Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, I'm Kellen." He's like, "How do you know these guys?" We're like, "I go to church with like at least half of them." He's like, "You ever thought about coming to Crossroads?" I'm like, "Yeah." I actually thought about transferring. He said, "Man, it's a long process, so you got to think about it. You got to pray about it." I'm like, "Okay, nice to meet you," and I walked away.
But yeah, so that game, Owen caught it, and he caught it on like the 2-yard line, and I thought he was in, and I just ran up to him and like hugged him because I thought we won. I was like, yeah. You know, I kind of like picked him up,
We're like,
and Jackson, everybody else knew that we still had to run it in, and Jackson was like, "Oliver, line up," because we had like 10 seconds left. He's like, "Line up." I was like, "What? Are we going for 2? What are we doing? We won."
No, there was one game. It wasn't that game, but I think I had a pick, and I took off, and because like one end zone, it was like the flat ground, and then they had the hill. It was on the hill and the big dip, and there was a big pothole somewhere like on the hill, and you couldn't see it. So I was like running for my life, and I was free. Like nobody was around me, and then I jumped right in the pothole and I tripped. I could have easily scored.
Yeah.
But I did like a somersault.
That game y'all won was one of the most awkward moments for me at the end. Because y'all were celebrating. And I wanted to celebrate too, but I wasn't a part of the team. Y'all were like grouping up and taking pictures, and I just kind of had to stand there waiting for y'all to get done.
Yeah, we did the W's.
Yeah. And half the team did the W's like that. Like half the team had did where you do one hand and you cross your your two middle fingers and you do a W. Well, the other half of the team did two L's and put them together and made a W that way. But yeah, I remember one game. I had a kickoff return. I think
y'all kicked off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're superficial.
Yeah, and I caught the ball, and immediately a guy ran up to me, and I slapped his hand away from pulling my flag. It was the most blatant slap ever. I was just screw it up. The refs don't catch this one, and I slapped his hand and just kept running, and I got right on the end zone, and the refs were like, "Hey, stop, dude! You're down back here." Our refs were whack. Our refs still are whack.
So yeah, y'all played flag football for 2 seasons.
And y'all didn't play this year.
No, we played golf.
We played golf, which were
y'all any better?
Not really. No, not really any better. They only won.
We won one thing, and we played. The one we won, we went all the way to Jacksonville, and it was a nice neighborhood. And we got back there, and I would honestly say the fairways were smoother than the greens. We got there, and they were mowing the greens, and their putting green was their putting green. It's they took one of those shovels that you throw in the ground, and then you squeeze the two sides and pull the dirt up. Yeah, and their holes were basically that. They didn't have any PVC in there, nothing. It was bad.
Yeah, that's when this year Pierce won state championship.
Yeah,
that was cool. We only lost.
I wanted to go to that game.
It was fun.
We only lost.
It was really fun. That goes back to what Oliver was saying they were on the 2-yard line. He thought they won. That's what happened to the state championship game.
Yeah,
he thought we scored, and everyone was cheering. We went crazy. It was awesome. And then the other team challenged it, and they called the playback, and we were on the 2-yard line. So we got to relive winning the state championship twice.
But it was weird because we were in, I think that was our third overtime that we went to, so it was 45-45. The other team, no, what was it?
It was 45-45 when we had the ball.
Rockmart kicked the field goal to make it, them at 45.
Yeah, so it was 45-45 when we had the ball.
Anyway, that catch that Carson Sloan had going into the fourth was just filthy. I think about that catch a lot. That was that play was sweet. Yeah. Yes, that play was nice. In a state championship game, just makes it so much better.
What I think was funny is that the announcer was saying he's doing everything. He might drive the bus home tonight, and then they got a picture on OTE or something of him actually in the driver's seat of the bus.
That was good. We took the trip to Atlanta. It was really last minute for everybody.
And me and Joshua went to a Hawks game. We were on the way up there, and we were like, well, we've got 6 hours to kill in Atlanta before we want to go to bed and everything. And then it's well, what's up there? And so we looked up if there was a Hawks game. And
the Nuggets. So we got to watch
it. That was when Trae Young got ejected.
Yeah, Trae Young got ejected.
So it was cool.
Pierce showed out, not only the team, but there were thousands of fans there. We filled up, It
was more than the first year, right?
What?
It was more than the first time we won state, right? More fans.
Yeah. So there was a lot of people in Mercedes-Benz.
Okay, so today's what? January the 10th? 13th? 13th, 14th, something.
14th is 14th.
Second week in January-ish. And the Bide Retreat 24 is February the 16th through the 18th, I think.
Something.
That's coming up.
About a month, yeah.
So last year was pretty fun.
Last year was fun. The campus was cool.
The campus, it was camp.
The camp had a zoo.
The camp had a zoo. That was a weird camp.
When they said...
No salt. I'll tell that story real quick. So we hadn't even pulled out of the church parking lot yet. And one of the things Michael said was the camp we went to for our retreat was a 7-day Adventist camp. Adventist campus. I think it's how you pronounce that. And they don't believe in caffeine, so there's no caffeine in this camp. All the vending machines are
diet
root beer. Well, not diet, but just like root beer and
Sprite,
Fanta or something. I don't know, whatever else.
Powerade.
Powerade. And so Michael was like, there's no caffeine at this camp, no coffee or anything. He just kind of made that announcement. Well, we were pulling out of the church parking lot, and Dawson was sitting in the back of the van with all the middle school boys, and we were all sitting up front. And Dawson goes, No. You can't have any sodium at this camp, guys. We were all like, what? Huh?
Oliver whipped around and said, yeah, no sodium. Leave your chicken at home, bro.
I said, leave your rotisserie chickens at the house. That was the first thing that came to my mind that would be salt. I could have said something better. Leave your salt shakers at the house or something, but
that always comes to mind.
The camp had like we could go on like canoes and just go down a little stream. But it was like 50 yards, so then we just had to turn around and come back.
Yeah, the canoeing was really hyped up. They were like, there's a place where you can go canoeing.
You have to have 3 people.
Yeah, you have to have 3 people. So me and who was with you? I know you and me ran.
It was you 3. And
was it us 3?
No, it was us 3 because then we had to ride back with Nathan in the van.
Yeah.
Because Tony.
Yeah, we ran down there to get in front of everybody because everybody said they were going to do it. We were like, no,
we're going to do it.
Yeah, because we're thinking the whole trip is going to take like 45 minutes, in a canoe, and we're going to be down there for a while, so we don't want to wait around for a while. And we got down there and got in the canoes and paddled 50 yards up this slough in the woods, and then turned around and paddled back.
There was like a little kind of island thing in the middle and a loop.
That was it.
And then it said, go this way. So we went this way. We're like, okay, it's going to take us farther out. And that we're going to end up coming back. But no, there was no other trail. It was literally just around that little circle and head back to the dock now.
No, when we got down there was that lifeguard. That lady lifeguard. I'm just going to say, like she did not care.
Yeah.
I remember we wanted to do it a second time. And so we went down there again, and I think Nathan was with us this time because I think we wanted to fit 4, because I think it was 3 or 4 in a canoe.
I think you can only do 3. It was you, 3. Me, and Nathan.
Okay, yeah, it was you, me, and Nathan. And
I remember.
There was this kid there named Tony from one of the other churches that were there, and they decided to choose the boat, or they were like rocking the boat to where there was water in there. And when I say water, there was a lot of water in that boat. And so we didn't know that at the time, so we got in, and one person had to sit on the floor of it, and 2 other people had to sit on these little rails. There wasn't seats; it was actual little metal rails. Yeah, and we were all like, "Dude, this sucks! We're about to just sit on the floor." We didn't know that the floor was completely just covered in water, and what we were in. Were we in jeans? Because it was cold that day.
We were in shorts because it would be 40 degrees in the morning and then 80 degrees by 12.
Oh, yeah.
The weather was terrible.
I remember we all sat down, we're like, okay, there's so much water in here. And then whenever we'd go by people, they would take their paddles and splash us with the water, and we would almost tip over. But we got back and Nathan's like, okay, get in the van, we're going back to the cabin.
Yeah. And Nathan, when he would paddle, would do his Viking chant. And he would be like, hurrah, hurrah, hurrah.
So, in 2023, we went with 3 other churches. But this year, we're going with 5 other churches.
There's going to be so many people.
There's going to be a lot of people. We're going to a new location.
It's in Brunswick, right?
It's in Waverly, Georgia.
We have to assert our dominance.
Right when we get there,
we are the best youth group.
We're going to assert our dominance.
We are the best youth group.
The men in the group
in the country.
Once we pull up in our vans, we hop out, we take our backpacks off, and we take our shirts off.
I'm not going to take my shirt off.
We just have to go left, right in the van.
We assert our dominance.
We're going to pull up, and while we're going through that driveway, when we're passing the other vans, we're going to do left to right the entire way.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be the hardest left right in the history of the world.
That's what we did I went to Deanwood Baptist summer camp this past summer, and I took my shirt off.
They're not the better youth group we are.
Their church.
But yeah, like last year, I felt like there was a bunch of people there, and I felt like that was a very big campus. So I'm like, how are we going to get a bigger campus and hold all those people?
Yeah. So, like I said, 5 churches are going. I think the campus will be smaller this time. There's not a zoo at this place.
Dang it.
I want to know if y'all picked up on Michael's hint tonight at youth group when he said we might get to assassinate our friend.
Yeah.
We're going to get to play Assassin again. That game was
Assassin.
I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Michael almost explicitly said that we're going to play this game on our retreat.
Exactly.
I don't know if y'all picked up on that subtle hint when Michael said you might have to assassinate somebody.
I feel like it would have been talked about already, though. No one talked about it, so I didn't know if anybody heard it.
You know, it's the assassin game. It's not.
Dude, I remember I got out to. I mean, this kid had to be a 6th grader in their youth group.
Was it the really short one?
It was that Noah kid. And it was our old youth pastor's son, Philip. And I remember we were playing, and I was like in top 13. And I told you.
Top number. Top 13. He was counting down.
I was keeping count of it. And I remember looking at the kid because everyone told me he had my number. And I remember I looked at him, I said, if you take my spoon, like, we're gonna have a problem. I told him, I have your spoon. I'm told to like take your spoon. I said,
did you have a spoon?
Huh?
Did you have a spoon? Or
I had a spoon at the time, and I was like, I'm not gonna take yours, but you're not gonna take mine. And he said, okay. So I turned around to walk away, and I just felt him dive tackle onto my leg because it was tied around because it was in my sock. The kid literally like tackles my leg and like wraps himself around it and rips my sock and gets the spoon. And I looked and I was like in utter shock because I didn't know what just happened to me. But it was nothing compared to what Uncle Taylor did to you.
Taylor committed a class 2 felony trying to get my spoon. It really wasn't all that fun. So, all right, so we were standing in a circle. It was Taylor. All right, so it was basically like Taylor and I can't remember who was in front of me. We'll say Kellen. I don't know. I'll say Kellen was in front of Taylor. They're standing beside each other. Well, I walk up to the conversation, and so Taylor is to my right, and he is talking to Kellen about something on his shirt.
No, he told me the night before, whenever we got our notes, he said, Kellen, I have your name, and you're gonna be gone in the first day. And so I was like petrified all day, so I was pleading with him.
I can picture him saying that, like his facial expressions and everything.
I just did a really good Taylor impression. I mean, all right, so I'm he is to the right of me. He's facing Kellen, who's standing to the left of me. They're facing each other. I hope I'm explaining this well enough. So he reaches across, and so his hand is basically in front of my chest. Well, I had a little chest pocket on my jacket, and I had the spoon just barely stuck out of it. Well, as he's reaching his hand across, pretending like he's fixing something on Kellen's shirt, he reaches it across really, really slowly. And I remember looking down thinking, what is he doing? Because it was really close to my spoon. And then all of a sudden he just grabs my chest and like holds on tight. Well, I like curl up into a ball. I had my Bible in my hand and I dropped it immediately. And me and him both like stomped on it trying to run and just crushed it in the ground. That's what ripped my cover off and my bookmark came out that weekend. Anyway, so I I kind of curled up into a ball and just kind of like put my head down and just ran straight forward and ran away from him. Well, he was still like holding on to my shoulder. Like I almost carried him with me and just trying to get him off of me. I didn't even think about it, but I ripped my jacket off. Like I unzipped my jacket and just like let him take my jacket with him. Well, the spoon was in the jacket. And so, like, he got the jacket off, and I was like, yes! And, like, I started running really far. And I saw him, like, fumble through the jacket and pull the spoon out and hold it up. I was like, oh, dang it.
What were the rules to that game like?
You couldn't take the person's spoon in the cabin or in, like, the worship room.
But how did you get, like, their spoon? Like, how did you get their name?
So we all drew names.
Yeah.
And then we had to keep up with the name. And once we took the person's spoon that we had on our name, they would give us their name they had. We'd have to go find that person.
So the first person that got out the entire weekend was Dawson Brady. and the funniest part about this to me is he had only been in youth for like a month and a half, like maybe less than a month. And so this was the second day. It was like 8 a.m. We were going to go do our first devotional. And so everyone's like, who has my name? Not everyone knows who has who yet. And so Nathan, who was mainly leading like the middle schoolers and the new kids and whatnot, Nathan asked Dawson, they're standing right at the door, they're the front two. We're all kind of standing around, and Nathan asked Dawson, he said, hey, where'd you put your spoon? And Dawson was like, it's in my sock or on my shoe. And Nathan was like, oh, nice, can I see it? Can I see it? And Dawson just pulled his pants leg up, and Nathan just bent down and snatched it from him. And it was funny because he just looked up and they just stared at each other. And that was the first person that got out.
There were some people that just didn't want to play the game, so they found out and they just went and gave them their spoon.
Yeah, I tried to really. I think I got to like the final couple of people, but I had.
You were in the Gaga Ball pit with the final 5.
But what's his face? What was that guy's name?
Talon or Falcon or
Fang.
Phoenix, Fang or whatever his name was.
Something like Scar, Fang, Talon.
No, he had like the gray hair and the man bun. But I think we got done at the zoo because we walked around at the zoo, and then we got back, and we were walking back to our cabins. It was a pretty long walk. It might have been after we got done eating. But their church, their group of guys was like in front of us, and we were just all, talking about it, and I was like, hey, I got this guy's, whatever his name was, Fang. I got his spoon, or his name, and I took off like chasing it. Man, he knew I had his name, and so he started running, and we were a good ways away from the cabin. Like, I would say we were like a fourth of a mile, half a mile away from the cabin, and we ran for like a fourth of a mile just after each other.
Y'all sprinted.
And I
watched y'all sprinted.
Dude, that guy was so fast.
He was fast. Like, I thought I could catch him. I mean, we had, I think we were the same speed, but he
had like a 10-foot head start.
He had a little bit of a head start. And I just gave up because he ran in his cabin. But I got tired.
You know what Cole also did that weekend? He smashed your Fig Newtons into a ball.
Dude, I was so mad. Dude, I brought... Oh, my God. Dude, y'all stole my... Okay, no. Yeah, my mom bought me a bunch of snacks. She got me Oreos, like the little individually packaged Oreos.
The Oreo Mini.
And Capri Suns. I had a whole package of Capri Suns, and then I had a thing of Fig Newtons. And they were all in my bag on my bed. And I remember I walked in, threw my bag on the bunk bed in the foyer, in the front little area where me and Hart were staying. Walked in the bathroom, took a leak, come back out. J-Rob had ripped open my bag, got 2 Capri Suns, and was walking down the hallway with a Capri Sun in his mouth. I was like, dude, don't. I was like, what are you doing? It's like, where'd you get that from? He's like, oh, I got it from your bag. It's like, stop drinking my Capri Suns. And then...
one was for me, one was for Raiden.
And that night...
oh, yeah.
That night, I got in the shower. Me and Cole and J-Rob were all sitting on a bed, and I was just eating Fig Newtons, just kind of hanging out, just chilling. And they ate some Fig Newtons, and we were just kind of chilling out, talking. And it got my turn to go take a shower. And I went to go take my shower, and I came back out. And I was like, I want my Fig Newtons now. I'm kind of hungry. I got my Fig Newtons. They had taken every single Fig Newton out of the package and crushed them all up into a big ball and shoved them back down into the container. And I was so disappointed. Like, they ruined all my Fig Newtons. I was so hungry.
But the bathroom door sucked. Like, you would lock it, but all you had to do was just shake it a couple times and completely unlock. So me and Cole took your NMD, and I shook the door while you were in the shower, and I tossed your shoe into the shower.
And it got soaking wet.
And it wasn't even...
pair of shoes that I brought.
It wasn't even... Huh?
It's the only pair of shoes I brought.
Yeah, but it wasn't even like a curtain shower. It was like full-on glass. Like,
yeah, it was like a glass opening door.
Straight through it.
It was steamed up.
Yeah. Remember, we had to be like, Michael, tell them to come in the bathroom.
Yeah, and the funniest thing about people stealing my snacks was when we were leaving, I had a few Oreos left, and I knew we weren't going to stop at a gas station on the way home, and I had my Oreos.
We did, though.
And, no, that was Lincoln.
We did at that one.
Because I remember everybody bought an energy drink.
There was cops there, and they were like, you don't remember that?
Yeah. I do remember that, because I got banana pudding and a lemonade monster.
You got banana pudding
at a gas station? And it was so good, bro. It was good banana pudding. Anyway, so in the van that we were in, when you opened the door, there was a chair like right there. Like the row wasn't all the way to the wall. There was,
it was
like
split in the middle.
Yeah, it was split.
That was a nicer van.
It was a nice van.
Maybe we'll get that one again.
Well, Oakley was sitting in the chair right beside the door. And I opened the door, and he was just opening one of the packages of my Oreos. I thought I had gotten all of them for the ride home. I had like 2 or 3 packages, and he was just opening a package and had one in his mouth. I was like, dude, where do y'all keep getting my Oreos from?
Now, I remember on the way up there, the only reason we did that is because you bragged so much on the way up there. You're like,
I may have.
You were like, oh yeah, y'all were going to be starving the whole time. I brought Oreos, Fig Newtons, Capri Suns.
You set yourself up for disaster.
You kind of waved them like, y'all can't get any.
I really don't doubt that I did that. I really probably did that.
I remember whenever you went to go take a leak, I took 2 or 3 bags, and then I took 2 Capri Suns, and me and Cole shared a room, and we had curtains behind our windows, and so I put the Oreos and the Capri Suns behind both curtains. That way you wouldn't find them, and then that night we just ate them.
No, I remember we pulled. So we got there. It was just turning dark, and so we went to go eat, and then after we finished eating, we got in the vans, and they said we were going to our cabins, and so we'd go down. I think we were going towards where the zoo was, but we turned off, and it was tight. Like there were trees.
Yeah, I remember that.
We were like going in and out of trees, and we like stopped when we all get out, and we thought we were at our cabins. And what are those things called?
They were like covered wagons.
Yeah, they were wagons
from the Oregon Trail,
like some Little House on the Prairie stuff.
And like half the kids from the other churches, like straight up, were going, "Are these our cabins? Are we staying in
like,
these?"
How are we gonna sleep?
Yeah, exactly. Because the leaders were like, "This is where y'all are staying. This is where y'all are sleeping."
Nathan said that.
Nathan told us because he made us unpack all of our bags.
Did he?
There was people like throwing them in. I mean, those things are like 10 feet long, 6 feet wide, and we're like, "There's no way 20 guys are about to sleep in this thing."
Yeah, we all. Yeah, most of us knew that they were joking. And
people
laughed
had
off.
tossed their bags in the wagon. They're like, or about to start unzipping and like unloading their stuff,
making their beds.
And then Mike was like, "You don't actually think we're staying here, do we?"
You don't actually think we're staying in these covered wagons, do you? We're not going to learn about the gospel out here in these covered wagons. That is my impression of Michael Covey. I really hope Michael hears that. One of the things I remember, though, that was just like, I don't know, not weird, but it was just kind of funny. I remember like the first day I woke up and Mr. Surge went on that trip, and me and Hart slept in the bunk bed in like the front little part of the cabin. That really wasn't even a bedroom. They just threw a bunk bed.
It was the living room. It was the living room of the cabin.
Yeah. They just threw a little bunk bed in the space. Well, Hart was below me, and there was a window. There was a window in like the front by the front door, and there's this window by the front door, and I remember Mr. Surge like the first morning. I woke up kind of slow, and like I looked over, and Mr. Surge was sitting like in the most freaking like stoic, like I don't know, he looked like a statue. He was sitting with like his legs crossed, just kind of gazing out of the window, and Art was just like, "Good morning, Dad." It's like, "Hey, Mr. Surge." It's like, "Y'all want to sleep? All right."
He was just like looking at the scenery.
Yeah.
We done? We end it?
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to this episode. I won't call it this week's episode because we're still kind of inconsistent, so we're working on that. But yeah, so this week's trivia question will be, who was the first person to get out at the Assassin game at the 2023 Abide Retreat? So comment it or shoot Joshua a text, and you'll be on the show. Same as all the other times. Tell us what we did right. Tell us what we did wrong. We'll try to listen to you and improve from it. So again, thanks for listening. And I told you shouldn't listen to this.